Ailey had 41 votes, that's 24%, and I could have never anticipated that she'd do that well when I first started. As far as I'm concerned, since I can't speak on behalf of anyone else, Ailey was the greatest source of misconception in the voting process. I originally tried to categorise some of the votes in terms of her militaristic aspect, mainly because a couple of people used the word militaristic, and also because 8 people, that's 1/5 of the votes, referenced her blimp. There were a couple of relevant negative remarks about her in other people's votes too. Suromancer said that her world would be something dry, full of meaningless suffering and violence. She is dull without the ambiguity necessary for life, leading to a world over-obsessed with control and security, a la 1984. Savage Gentleman similarly thinks she'd lack in creativity, deeper reflection and leisure. Yes, leisure. He smartly likens her world to the industrialised Europe of 1914, turning to weapons when it's deemed useful as the first method of problem resolution. Non-Euclidean Cat sees something of a positive side to this, saying her no-nonsense approach would eliminate the political spin, but it would be more appropriate in our world than a world just beginning. So I was originally trying to define her in terms of this military aspect, but then I realised that most votes that brought this up were really referring to the strength that is inherent in the military person, or the straightforwardness, or even the just sense of cool. I actually had to make a category which was general/cool. There was no other way to put it, and I haven't done that for any other sister. Due to time restraints, I may have to be a bit briefer with the remaining votes. Consider it a tax for getting to be in the secure arms of the significant majority. Atras50 has a bit of an anomalous vote, saying that Ailey's qualities would seem to fit the best in what we've seen of the real world. I suppose it is quite uniform up there, and she does have some great colours. Crimson and silver are a very stylish combination. Sandono likes that she's honest and frank. Warm Body doesn't have the straightforward determination needed to make this sort of decision, and is glad that Ailey can fill that role. Rampk, that's hard to say, Rampk? Yeah. Mentions the Zeppelin, and I think I'll allow it here because he also says how it makes her seem more suitable to Ascension, having something that can actually fly. Part of the character design, it does work well. He also says that she's straightforward and apparently honest. This is elaborated on by Droxis, who says that her apparent honesty is refreshing, even though his default position is that everyone is out to manipulate you. Ailey never seems to want anything, and she's also the only sister that's shown any sense of humour. If you think about it, that's actually quite an important consideration. John Donovan Liver likes Ailey's honesty, and also the fact that all the other sisters have been cryptic. I don't think that's true, since one of the main points in Aya's favour was that she was very blunt with us. But that doesn't detract from Ailey in any way. Though Aya may have been blunt, she did accuse us of things that we had pretty much no control over, repeatedly and harshly, and Temporary Setback notes that Ailey has had absolutely none of that. Conskill, your theories have stood out to me throughout the thread, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on what the Void means after the finale. As for Ailey, she may have been just as manipulative as everyone else, but her straightforward manner is something that appeals, and there's always the off chance that she is actually honest, in which case, all the better. Dapper Fellow again says she's straightforward and honest. Mechion says she's been honest and reliable, no ulterior motives. She's also arguably been the most useful. We're currently doing things that she first mentioned to us.
I'm afraid you're...
I accidentally cut off a comment by Ole there. She was talking about how her realm had been damaged and her garden was under threat. She'll finish it when I exit her camera obscura. Felicity GS again likes her blunt honesty and no-nonsense approach, which leads to her feeling rational, and the thanks that she gives when you open her third heart is far more genuine, as Turbo Flaming Chicken points out. Ole is amazing with that swing, but I won't have it infringing on Ailey's spotlight. So Blanked thinks that her bluntness leads to a sense of confidence, which causes her to treat us with respect and equality. Miss Foot says this makes her very memorable, as she doesn't talk down to us. And that's true, while many others feel the need to speak to us in simple terms or outright boss us around, Ailey never does.
Did you know that all it takes to see colour is to believe in colour? But to use it properly, you must pay close attention to it, always. See how much happiness you bring us.
I think the use of colour goes further than simply knowing how to manipulate it. Seeing what it can do for others is just as crucial. Potato Man Jack says, verbatim, she lives in a blimp and doesn't speak in riddles. For some reason her area made me think of a 1930s steampunk Hindenburg world. All that makes me think of is exploding and crashing, but I guess it's also important to know just when to wipe the slate clean and start over. Marek likes Ailey's business-like manner. It's amazing how many ways there are to describe her. Even if she has been a bit conniving, her honesty and severity still appeal. There is a job to be done, making a new world. Ailey is up to the task. So close, only 178 droplets to go, without accounting for having full trust.
Damaging my realm for no good reason.
How are you feeling now, Ole? That's the reason. A sister will make that comment once you've damaged their realm enough, and since the most damage you can do is by feeding the sister directly, it usually only happens at this stage in the game if you're playing the game properly. In the game I had going for this Let's Play before my save files disappeared, I actually managed to trigger this far earlier in a different garden, purely because of some serious mistakes I made. I'll still get to show it off. I'll head to Ole's garden next and see what's up. An Axite changed his vote after seeing Ailey's third heart being opened. Saying some nice words at the right time can make all the difference. Ailey is thoughtful, but also has some passion and compassion. This seems to be because she is a strategist, which Endolithic claims is necessary when facing the unknown. Especially if we're going to be absent during it, she will remain pragmatic but not defeatist. Also, that equality factor crops up again. When we send her up, she won't be all gushy that we chose her, and she won't be depressed that we can't go with her. She'll just get things sorted. She can handle herself. There are plenty of people to reiterate this. Deep Fried Kitten says she can handle whatever's waiting beyond. Obnoxious Brit says she seems like she can get things done. Blue Pard says she'll need the strength that she has, and she's awesome besides. While Paracelsus says she might actually make something in the new world. Sarlax adds to this by saying she has psychological strength as well as physical. She's concise, willing to do what is needed, and in complete control. This makes her very even and balanced. As Sekhmet says, she is strength and drive tempered with a bit of kindness. Sarlax also brings up her skepticism, and Uncle Kitchener is particularly fond of her cynical nature. In fact, it may be what drove her to become so independent and capable as she is now. Zeal was attracted to Ava's liveliness, but since she wasn't going to win, Ailey was the choice. Ailey also has life, mainly because she has purpose. She's waiting to sail off, to begin a world of adventure and inspiration. While it may burn out eventually, it would be glorious while it lasted. These are new, appearing in the gardens as a sign of the realm's decay. They are offsprings of the Scorpio, which we've heard of before. Not terribly threatening, mainly just a very nice source of colour later in the game. You may find them already lying open and displaying their droplet, and I'm sure you'll be tempted just to grab it the first time you see them. That'll just lead to you getting attacked and usually chased around for a bit, but not in this case. They're not all that violent. Back to the votes. Goddamn pointed out something very interesting. When you enter each sister's chamber, in the Russian version, Sister Death would give you a brief summary of the sister you're about to meet. One of the many, probably excessive bits of dialogue that was cut. Sister Death says that Ailey would spend 1,000 years down in the void in exchange for 1 day on the surface. The only greater indication of her drive is that she built the blimp to escape. Goddamn also likes her strength and assertiveness, and her hair, and outfit, and physique, and attitude. That's a pretty clear vote there, not the slightest bit of indecisiveness. It's really nice to know what you like. Don't like! It's screaming, and kind of whirring slightly. Kill it with a splodge.